Action Comics issue 1059 finds a group of bank robbers speeding through downtown Metropolis, panicking when they see the beings who are pursuing them. The truck comes to a halt and the robbers plead to Superman to not take them to jail, but it's not Superman who has been pursuing them though. It's the Blue Earth, who smash into the truck, trapping the men inside. A fire breaks out inside and the men plead for the beings to let them out, but the Blue Earthers stand around and watch. Superman, clad in his special armor, leaps onto the truck and uses his sword to pry open the roof and rescue the men. The Blue Earthers aren't concerned with Superman and Steel, finding that they are outmatched, but Clark begs to differ, shielding himself from the heat vision as the men proclaim that this is their city now. Clark reminds them that it's not their city, and the street that they are destroying was named after an immigrant who fought Nazis and made a fortune and spent it on the Metropolis poor, so the city isn't what they think it is. The Blue Earthers try and crush Superman with some rubble, but he whips his shield at them, causing it to fall on the man as he smashes the other over the head with his sword, breaking it. The Superman family arrive, but before they can join the fight, Superman calls for a ceasefire, telling the Blue Earthers that they are taking the robbers to hospital and then to jail, but the villains don't believe Superman speaks for the city anymore. Superman reveals that he told his daughter Othel that they aren't the enemy, and he's asking them to show her that now, and he believes that they put on uniforms to answer the call to serve and to stop crime, since if they put them on to commit crimes, that makes them the worst kind of people in the world. He asks the Blue Earthers which one they are, and the villains decide it's time to put on a show for the gathering people. Othel and Othel leap in after them, and Othel becomes lost in a strange mist that engulfs her. A strange voice says that it looked into her mind, and while the others are all standing for truth and justice, she does not. Nora Stone appears before Othel, claiming that the girl has the iron in her. She reveals that she is more than just the leader of the Blue Earth movement, and while they have their uses, it's just the first step to the real prize, which is Othel. Nora tries to appeal to the girl, telling her that she was right to kill in order to protect her brother on Warworld, and Superman threw all her hard work away. Othel doesn't buy it, claiming to be a Supergirl of the House of El. She blasts Nora with her heat vision, but it passes right through Nora like it is nothing. Nora knows that she can still feel her chain, and it's like a phantom limb to her, and at night she twists her socks and her shirts up into a chain and wraps them around her arms to simulate the cold feeling of it, and she misses it so much. Nora begins to fade away like a ghost, telling the girl that she will see her soon. Othel wakens in reality, finding that she missed the battle with the Blue Earthers and they defeated them, but they managed to escape. Kara notices that Othel is clutching an amulet, but Othel thinks that it's nothing. It's just something she found in the rubble. Later on, Superman recharges in the Steelworks solar harvester, regaining a little of his power. Clark is impressed with Natasha's harvester, finding that she started building it the day after they got back from Warworld, and it should recharge Superman quicker than the sunlight. Clark doesn't have time for a full charge though, since he's going to help with the cleanup, but Lois arrives, telling him he should check the news. Elsewhere, Kara and Connor watch over Othel and Othel, thinking they have homework to be doing rather than playing. Connor notices Kara doesn't look so good, and she tells him that she has been feeling weak ever since the fight earlier that day with the Blue Earthers. Connor is reminded about how Clark felt that same way once Nora Stone touched him in the Daily Planet and his powers were taken. Kara doesn't want to be reminded of that woman since they don't know anything about her and they are just reacting to what she is doing and waiting to see her next move. Clark meanwhile learns the Blue Earth is sending out doctored photos of their battle with the Blue Earth to the press, making it look like the Superman family were causing all of the damage and the Blue Earth people were there to stop. Lois is really worried since Nora is trying very hard to replace him in the family, more than any other villain before. Clark knows that it will be okay since people will see through these lies, and he's more concerned with how she is taking their powers for her own people. Lois tells him that Stone had told the news that they invented radiation processing nanobots that replicate Kryptonian powers, but John Henry doesn't buy that story and no one will believe it. But Lois thinks that people already do since the world is watching Metropolis, and Nora is pushing this incident to sell the Blue Earth as a new Superman family and maybe even a new Justice League. Clark stares at Nora's image, not able to shake the feeling that he has seen her somewhere before. Lois offhandedly says that the woman reminds her a lot of Bruce Wayne, and then it clicks for Clark. He remembers who Nora Stone is, remembering his running with Jal Al Ghul on Earth Al Ghul with the Authority. He can't believe that he was so blind to this, and it's all his fault. He tells the family about Jal Al Ghul, the daughter of Bruce and Talia from another Earth, and the alien invasion she's been ranting about is real, as the Empire of shadows is invading them. Out in the garden, the amulet Othel got explodes with a green power, which restrains her. Kara tries to save her as Superman speeds into the area, grabbing at Othel, but she teleports away before he can grab her. He screams to the girl that they will find her and bring her home as she is transported to Earth Al Ghul, meeting with Janal Al Ghul, who tells her big things are about to happen and a lot relies on Othel. As Othel spots statues of Ra's al Ghul and Bruce Wayne, Janal laments how she thought her family had high expectations, but wait until Othel meets the Al Ghuls. Sometime before, Kenan Kong awakens in the afterlife where he is met by Master I Ching. Kenan is glad to see his old master again, telling him that he can't be dead since he's too young. The master reminds him that death comes for all, no matter the age, as he cackles at Kenan's fear of death, since this is not a true death, as the American Superman transcended death many times, and his ki is intertwined with Kenan's own. I Ching tells him to guide the ki across the 8 trigrams of the Bagua, and in doing so he will return to life again. Kenan focuses his power, feeling himself fill with ki as he wakes back up. He's surprised to find the super twins are happy he's alive, however they quickly tell him they still wish to knock his teeth in, however they never wish death upon him. Kenan tells Robin Pod to translate and he asks if Clark Kent really is Superman. Connor confirms he is and is surprised that he didn't die thanks to the psychic bomb Lex Luthor planted in the minds of everyone on Earth, so when they discover Superman's identity, they die. Superboy figures that Kenan thought they were murdering people who found out the secret, and it's why he was spying on them. Kenan also figures that the reporter from Shanghai died because he learned the truth, and it was all just a big misunderstanding. Connor hopes that he understands why he wouldn't tell him his identity, not because he didn't want to, but because it would harm Kenan. Kenan spots 2 lasers pointing at Superboy as he is blasted back into the twins by the Batman of China, who came when Kenan's vitals flatline. Superboy smashes up Batman's Robin Pod gauntlet, asking if Kenan is okay. Baxi doesn't like him calling Kenan by an Americanized version of his Chinese name, coming at Superboy with a batarang. The Super Twins want to teach the Batman a lesson, but Robin Pod stops them, asking them for a favor. Kenan tries to stop Baxi from fighting, telling both Batman and Superboy that they are his friends and he will just explain everything. The twins suddenly pull Kenan from the building, telling him to listen to Robin Pod. The droid says that he cannot explain the situation to Batman since he is a good detective and he will easily deduce who Superman really is, causing the psychic bomb to go off and kill him. Kenan asks the droid what to do and the droid wants him to give him some options and he'll run the calculations and the likelihood of it leading to Batman's death. Batman meanwhile whips his batarang at Superboy, cutting him grievously on the arm. He reveals that it's made from the scales of a magic snake, knowing that Kryptonians don't do well with magic. Kenan returns, telling his friend that the Superman family aren't guilty, but he won't say why, stopping Robin Pod from telling Baxi as well. With no option left, Kenan says that the Superman family are his team now, and if Batman wants to investigate them, he'll have to go through him. Batman threatens to do so, but Kenan figures he won't, since he trusts him too much. Batman leaves and a few days later, Kenan officially joins the Superman family, getting a cool new jacket, but becomes sad, knowing that his friendship with Batman has been forever shattered. Sometime before the Superman Day celebrations, John Kent babysits Othel and Othel, getting into a slime fight with them and Krypto. He tries to tell them that it's their bedtime, but Othel tells them that their mother hasn't tucked them in yet. John tells them that Lois is pulling double duty at the Daily Planet now that she's running things there, and they are already up way past their bedtime. John's phone buzzes with a video call from Lois, who knows that they should have been in bed 30 minutes ago. The kids pretend that John insisted that they stay up, but Lois doesn't buy it, telling them and Krypto to head to bed. The kids run off to bed as John chats with his mother. Lois thanks him for looking after the twins, finding it important they assimilate into their surroundings with their big brother and not just a random babysitter. John thinks it's good they are getting a real family and aren't imprisoned on a volcano, quick to apologize since he's just looking for pity. As with Jay setting up his new job at Steelworks PR, he's barely seen the man. Lois understands it all too well, having been pulled away from Clark a number of times, but she believes that people who care about each other always find their way back together again, much like a rubber band. Lois is told about some meetings she is currently late for, quickly saying her goodbyes and ending the call. John thinks it's just him and Crypto, but wonders if Jay is home yet. He texts Jay, finding that he won't be home until well after midnight, so then he can call him. Until then, John decides to go for a fly around the city and take in the city's night lights. Jay soon calls and both discuss their days and how their respective jobs are going, chatting for hours before Jay realizes he's got to be up for work very soon. However, he didn't get any sleep. John thinks that it's time they took a day off, telling Jay to get some sleep and meet him on the apartment roof in the afternoon. Later, Lois tries to get John to watch the kids again, but he tells her that he's taking a very much needed mental health day with Jay. John arrives at Jay's place with fresh tacos and burritos, setting in for a late afternoon brunch. Jay's phone begins dinging constantly, so John decides to take him for a short flight around the neighborhood before he has to inevitably go back to work. John flies through the sky with Jay, telling him to loosen his grip a little so he can feel like he's actually flying. However, he loses his grip on Jay, causing him to fall. John catches him in an instant, giving him a kiss before hearing something happening over in Centennial Park. Jay reminds him that it's the Superman Day celebration and it's why his phone keeps dinging. John knows that he and his family are going to the celebration and he can drop Jay off to work at the same time, but their time is cut short when the park violently erupts with explosions, calling Superman away. Superman helps out his family with Walker's killer robots as Jay deals with the PR nightmare, hoping that John is okay. John appears, wondering if Jay is talking about him. Jay is surprised to see Superman, but John reminds him that when he's in his street clothes, he's still using his secret identity again. He wants to finish up their date, as elsewhere, Lois tells Clark that she hasn't been able to get hold of John since the battle at the park. Clark figures that she wants him to track their son, and with some reluctance, Clark finds his heartbeat, taking Lois into the sky to go and find their son, but Lois tells him to stop since she's glad he's okay and they should give him some space, deciding not to go and look for her son as both Jay and John have passed out in their picnic on the rooftop. Clark thought that Lois's inquisitive mind would want to go and know what is happening immediately, but she tells him that that's the reporter side of her, but the mother side of her knows better, although she does hope that he is wearing a jacket wherever he is, since he might get a cold, although Clark is unsure if he can actually get a cold.